This is the Bookshelf Challenge, where I challenge myself to read all of the books on. Okay, just got done reading another book. This was Jaws 2, the novelization. Normally what you have is that someone writes a book, it gets popular, and someone else said, hey, let's turn it into a movie. And that was the case with Jaws 1. It was a book by Peter Benchley. It was pretty popular. They made it into a movie with Steven Spielberg as the director. Went down as one of the greatest movies of all time. And then they decided, let's do some sequels. So they wrote up a screenplay for Jaws 2, and they used that to make this book. I assume that this book came out at the same time as the movie. It was a tie-in. And yeah, I've always been fascinated with these movie novelizations. Like, is there anything that they could add that wasn't in the movie that you've seen? And sometimes they just follow the plot of the movie down to the last letter, so it's not that exciting. But every once in a while they do give you something. Now this one did not follow the movie at all. I was actually shocked at the differences between this novel, which is supposed to be a novel based on this movie, and the movie itself. I've seen Jaws 2 quite a few times. It's a decent horror movie. This book, like I said, it kind of starts out like, the sequel with the two guys diving down to the orca, and in comes the new shark and eats them up. And they had the motorboat scene, only in this case instead of two women. It's one woman, she's on the water skis, and it's her husband who's on the motorboat. Small change. And, they have a helicopter scene where the helicopter gets taken out by the shark, but it's under some different circumstances. It doesn't land in the water, and then he flips it over, using the pontoons. Like I said, there's that. And then there's like these subplots that were just in this that were never in the movie. Brody, Chief Brody, he sees this guy shooting at some seals. He's like, hey, you can't shoot that seal. So he arrests the guy, and the guy is this obnoxious New Yorker who's a police captain or something. And he's got friends. He's friends with the commissioner. And then they get on Amity Island saying, hey, you got to drop these charges. We're going to make life difficult for you. Because at the time, the island, it's 2 years after the original shark attack. They're trying to reinvent themselves with this casino. And, they're not going to get the approval they need from Albany, New York, unless they drop these charges, and Brody doesn't want to play ball. And they also have a seal. And then there's mobsters involved in this plot line. There's a pharmacist. Like in the movie, when the divers go down, they have a camera, they get attacked. They, recover the camera. And in the movie, some guy takes pictures of it, and like Brody looks at it, and he can kind of sort of see a shark. But no one believes that what they're looking at is a shark but him. But in this one, the pharmacist takes one look at it. He says, oh, that is clearly a shark. We're screwed. Our business, we weren't recovering from the last time there was a shark attack. And he thinks that Brody lied about killing the shark. So he's trying to sell his pharmacy. And he's not telling them, I got this picture of this fucking shark. The guy's like just a selfish shark. Then he gets mixed in with this mobster and ends up getting killed. Because there's this mobster who's behind the casino. And like I said, that was not in the movie, so that was a surprise. But it didn't make for a very good book. I gotta be honest. This felt like more of a sequel to the actual original novel than it did Jaws to the movie, which I'm gonna say it again, is a very decent horror film. But this book didn't really have any of those elements, so I didn't like it. All right, let's pick my next book. All right, up next we got Mistborn